Welcome to The Trend. I'm Rebecca Granet. You know him and you love him as your favorite TV dad from Growing Pains, and now he and his beautiful wife are opening up their lives to us in the new season of Unusually Thicke on Pop TV September 21st. It's Thicke and his wife Tanya. Welcome, guys.
Well, thank you for having us, Rebecca. How fun. We're excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you. So you describe the show as a reality sitcom, right?
Yeah, because when they first approached us about a reality, they actually approached Tanya because, as you will see in the next few minutes, she is a loose cannon. She is unfiltered,
Hold on to your
unchecked. Yeah, I have no idea, and it goes everywhere from hilarious and heartwarming and insightful to cringeworthy. My wife is capable of just about anything. And that's one of the things I think that makes our show fun and unpredictable. They approach, because of all those personality traits, there were some reality shows coming to book Tanya, and we started to talk about whether that would be a good thing. And then ultimately, that sort of morphed into a family show, but not reality in the sense that we were accustomed to a couple of years ago, where people are tipping over tables and
throwing wine at each other.
Yeah. So we wanted to
want to do something a little bit more positive, and but also have it be real to our family and things that have actually happened to us. So a lot of times what we're doing is there are stories and situations that have actually occurred. So it didn't occur at that moment, but we make it occur at that moment. And then when you have the cameras rolling, things just happen anyway. There's no running away from that. You're going to get the instant reality that comes with a reality show.
So the sitcom part is we're trying to tell stories, real stories, but
and the reality just comes from having the cameras follow you around.
Yeah, we don't have scripted dialogue. We never know what's going to come out of Tanya's mouth. And it's usually pretty funny, and that's why we decided to really describe the show as family drama with a sense of humor, finding the humor in family drama.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Rebecca. I was just thinking, like, if the cameras were following us, like, in our real life, right before we got married, there was a situation where, you know, we thought before we got married, let's have some marriage counseling to make sure we go over all the things and expectations, you know. And
what she really means is covering my first two marriages.
I remember.
To make sure.
No, I just
Let's
remember.
See where he
so she did her homework and
like, let's just make sure we get this right, because you know, I'm not the type of girl to get married and get divorced, and we've now been together 17 years, so whatever we're doing, it works.
Married since 2005, right?
2005, but we were engaged for 3 years and dated for 2 years, so a total of 7. I count, girl. The clock starts when I meet the man. Okay.
Day one.
Let me just. Day one.
The
clock is ticking. So
if only we had Tinder then, you know, this could have been done.
So we leave, you know, I said to him, I said, okay, honey, don't forget we have an appointment with Joella today. So it goes, oh, I'm going to ride my bike there. And I'm like, all right, don't worry, ride your bike there. I'll meet you there. Well, the session didn't go really well. So when I left, I kicked his bike and broke it. And I left him there. No. And I went home in the car, and he had to walk his bike home.
And then
so imagine if we had gotten that on camera. I was thinking to myself, imagine if the cameras had been following us and they had seen Tanya leave the therapist and she kicks his bike. I didn't know. I had no idea I'd broken it, or I would have waited for you. Honestly,
we always try to find. Here's a tip: you got to try to find a marriage counselor close enough you can bike to, so you can get there for an emergency. You got to be able to. It's like speed dial.
The on-call marriage counselor.
It works. So those are the kind of scenarios that we like to bring back into our show, and that's what keeps it, you know.
But this year, I think what we're doing this year that sort of expands it. We spent these first 2 seasons. We're in our 3rd season. The first 2 seasons were largely about our family and getting to know us. And now we're stepping out a little more beyond ourselves. Now it's more the family reaction to real things that are going on in the world, news items, everything from same-sex dating to Tanya confronts a bunch of social media haters.
The hate on social media.
And I was actually going to ask you about that. So that's one thing.
That's one thing I did, because I have encountered that. Really mean, you know, calling me fat and ugly, and oh well, she must have been a model a long ass time ago. Look at how fat she is. And you know, granted, I have put on some weight, but to call me fat and to ridicule me on social media where people can see see it, and I've got my nieces following me. I've got my girlfriend's daughters following me. I don't want them reading it. I'm keeping it clean right now.
She has her trainer following her, and now he feels like a complete failure.
Well, anyway, I just, I thought to myself, God, whatever happened to that social thing? My mother always said, if you have nothing nice to say, just don't say anything at all.
Yeah, of course.
So, we made that into an episode, and that was a lot of fun. So I confront a hater, and it's a very exciting episode. So the haters episode, I think all you ladies should tune into that.
And I think that's so special, too, because to tackle real issues that people are dealing with. So, I mean, I'm sitting here like, you are beautiful.
Oh,
so
thank you.
To know that you're encountering these issues as well, I mean, it makes everybody kind of feel connected, knowing that everybody's kind of going through the same thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I just don't know where all this hate comes from. It wasn't the way I was raised, and it's not the world that I want to live in. So I think that if you don't really kind of take a stand and have something to say about it, then we're going to just let that perpetuate and keep going. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so it's not just you two on this show. It's your whole...
It's a whole family. It's a family affair.
Carter.
Carter.
Right? Is he at school right
Carter's
now?
19 now, and he's now at USC. So our show deals with him in that transition from high school to college. And
are you missing him?
And yeah, I must say, a little empty nest. I mean, we love our time alone. We do very well all by ourselves. But you're kind of used to that presence in the house. And so now it's only every few weeks.
And he's a fiery one, right? He's always trying to like scheme and do. I mean, from what I saw on the show,
yeah.
he's always trying to.
He's a little shitster.
Yeah. He's the two of them. I'm kind of the wallpaper. The two of them really kind of carry the show with all of that unpredictability.
Well, honey, no, that's not
get.
true. You're the star of the show.
We have a teenager, we have a 30-something, and I'm carbon
No, honey,
dated.
I'm 41 now.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm 41. Get with it. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's gonna be okay.
How are the other two? You have Brennan
and Robin. They make cameo
Thicke.
appearances. They're quite fabulous in their own right. And yeah, I'm a proud dad. I'm happy with all three of my sons and my two grandsons, and one of whom is in an episode. And Tanya kind of referees the whole package of males. They're all men.
Geez.
There are
You
no.
are surrounded by guys.
Well,
it's
she
a
is
good thing
she's
that...
the first girl I've ever raised.
You're so funny.
Well, I have to say, just like in a fatherly way, I do feel like kind of like you raised me a little bit. 'Cause I watched you Growing Pains for quite a long time.
In all seriousness, I'm very proud of Growing Pains and what it stood for. And that dad, Jason Seaver, was the kind of guy I would aspire to be if I had 12 writers telling me how to deal with my kids. But proud of the legacy of that show too. So thank you. I'm glad.
And he's also,
I'm glad you turned out well.
Oh, thanks.
What's
It's out for debate, but
what I love about my husband, though, is he's really not too far stretched from his character as Jason Seaver. You know, he is that doting father, that caring dad, very lenient dad. You know,
I do get accused
You're
of
the
that.
pushover?
Oh, he's a complete pushover.
Too indulgent.
Too
not
indulgent,
strict enough.
not strict enough. How about not strict, period? There's like no consequences, no anything. So, you know,
wow.
those are, it's good. It's a good thing he had all boys, because I can only imagine what that would have been like raising girls. You have to have boundaries. You have to have, you know, I just think you can't be that.
I'm not sure I would let Rebecca wear those shiny pants. I would have. I got to draw the line.
I'm just saying that, you know, it's a house full of testosterone, and it's a good thing that he has 3 great sons and 2 amazing little grandsons, because boys, you can get away with it. Boys, it's okay, because boys, you know, but girls really need the guidance from their dad, you know.
At least, though, here's the silver lining for you, is that no one's coming in to borrow your clothes. Because if I was living in the house, I would be stealing your things all the time. So at least that's your silver lining.
But guess what? I love to share, Rebecca. So you're welcome to raid my closet anytime.
All right, did everyone hear that? I just want to make sure everybody heard that. Okay. So going back just to Jason Seaver for 1 second. So he was a psychiatrist on the show, right? Is there any advice that he gave in all the dialogue that you've had to say that you've been able to kind of parlay into your own life, your own family with your kids?
I think there probably some of that you absorb, and also I brought a little to it with my own parenting notions. We, in fact, for the scenes that were specifically about my psychiatric practice in the household, that's where Jason practiced, we had a consultant, we had a psychiatrist who would be on set to tell me how to handle those scenes. I mean, little things like a woman would be in the office pouring her heart out about her family situation, and your instinct would be, oh, it's okay, you know, my dear, things will get better. And the psychiatrist said, no, don't touch. You never touch.
Oh.
You don't comfort that way.
Oh, wow.
So specific psychiatric guidelines I got, but I think otherwise the input was a great give and take between me and the writers as to how we would handle the situation.
Now I'm worried because all of my therapists have always touched me, so I'm concerned now.
Well, that was just before the guy said, yeah, and you ought to dump him.
Oh my God.
Actually, I did have a therapist tell me that I should get rid of him.
Did you really?
You should get rid of him, and you want to meet for a cocktail?
I was just going to say, and so that was the end of that therapist.
It was the end of that therapist because I just thought, you know.
Well, you know, you have, I know, you have great guest stars that come on.
We do.
Unusually Thick.
We're lucky to have that because, you know, my husband is so loved in town that we have great friends that just kind of stepped up to the plate and showed up, and it was out of love and respect for you.
Because we're doing an improvisational comedy show, we wanted to get funny people, so we did that. We've had a host of them. It's people who are automatically going to bring it, you know, on film day. Bill Maher, Stamos, Bob Saget, Minnie Driver, Hasselhoff.
Minnie's my friend.
Cedric the Entertainer.
I hit her
Russell,
up for that
Russell
favor.
Peters, you know, fun people.
Yeah, it's
and
kinda
this
cool
year
to
we
see.
even do a little stunt casting. Meaning, you know, since we're dealing with some issues, you will enjoy this year the comedy of Alex Trebek. And and we found a very specific spot for Kato Kalin. So you'll want to
Kato
tune in for
Kalin
that.
is on it. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. You know, and I think it's worth mentioning too, because when watching your show, I feel like it's one big inside joke for you and the audience. Like you kind of reference a lot of things that you guys have been through in life and the things that we've seen you in. You know, I don't know if everyone knows. I think a lot of people do that. You've done game show, talk show host, composer. That you've written so many of the big
Symphonies, orchestral symphonies that you'll probably.
Actually, you did. And Russia. Didn't you do
that?
that?
I did. David Foster and I wrote a grand anthem for the Red Army Choir back when there was a Red Army.
Oh my God.
And they had a choir. And
it was amazing.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't there, but I heard all about it.
You're just very talented. I mean, obviously you have Robin, who obviously takes after you, but just different strokes and facts of life and just creating those theme songs. I mean, those are like staples for so many people.
Robin has taken it to another level.
Yeah, I don't call myself a musician in front of Robin any more than I'm a designer in front of Ralph Lauren, you know. So,
I can't believe you pulled that out.
Yeah, that's...
You named the designer.
And I referenced my lovely Robin's Egg blue jacket.
Oh,
I think
there you
by doing that.
I love it.
So, yeah, I've enjoyed the variety of my career, being able to dabble at a bunch of things and have some fun with that, including music. But, you know, speaking of growing pains and friends and invention, one of our episodes was to be a Growing Pains reunion, a barbecue at our ranch. And in real life, Kirk Cameron didn't show up that day. Instead, he sent a little video. So now we're stuck without an ending for that episode.
Because he didn't show up.
Yeah, so we pick up the phone.
What's going on,
We take the crew over to John Stamos. And we're sitting on the balcony.
He went over to the John Stamos
and said, John, got this great idea. We should do a feature film now of Growing Pains, and you should be Mike Seaver. And John says, yes, but the Seavers should be modernized into this century. They should be a family of vampires. Great. And you should be gay. You should be the gay vampire Mike Seaver. Sold.
Twilight has got some competition.
That's how we ended the episode.
That's awesome.
So we had to come up, you know, and
it was
we
a
came
Well,
up
you
with
gotta
that.
scold.
We
Mr. Mike
scored.
Seaver, you gotta scold him
a
because
quick
that's your...
adjustment. Yeah,
That's
made a
awesome.
quick adjustment.
So you know what? Let me. We have this thing here that we do, the 10 for 10 challenge. It's 10 questions.
Okay.
And you have 10 seconds to answer each one.
Oh God.
Which is going to be a challenge.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Here we go. Alan, this is for you. The best meal that Tanya cooks for you.
Turkey sauce.
Turkey sauce.
Okay, that's good.
But I should expand. That's
Go
like a meat sauce that you can go on, but it's made out of turkey and these incredible spices.
Cage-free turkeys too.
Yeah.
It's
You have
healthy.
to buy cage-free animals. That's my whole thing. You can't, cage-free turkey sauce is good.
Absolutely. Nicknames that you have for each other.
Oh, we don't have a nickname.
You don't have a couple name? Like a celebrity couple's name?
I call you sweetie, and
Oh,
you
that's
call
not a
me,
nickname.
and you call me baby.
Yeah, but that's not a nickname.
You could be Talon.
Yeah, no, we'll have to
sitting here
work.
thinking
We'll have
as
to
we're
work on that.
We'll have to work
We'll
on
have
our
to work because
nicknames.
apparently we're really dull that way.
We're dull that
We're
way.
going to spice it up. We're going to get you some
Yeah.
nicknames. Okay. I heard that you may or may not have a little romantic time to Robin Thicke's music.
You see?
Hey,
That-
wouldn't you?
What is going
Okay,
on with
first
that?
of all,
We're not.
So,
Are we the
Rebecca-
only people on the planet?
Rebecca, thank you so much for clarifying. That was the thing I was telling you about when I
Okay.
said, do you guys edit or what? Because
Oh.
that's not what I said.
Then let's set the record
So
straight.
let's set the record straight. I never said that we have sex to Robin's music. We don't go in the bedroom, put on his CD, and say, oh, let's get freaky. No, that is not what happened.
She
what
gave,
I said,
her answer was much shorter. She
My-
said, "We'd be banging to the whole album."
that's not what I said. What I said is it happened where we have our music playlist on and we're in the middle of having sex and Robin's song comes on and it's kind of awkward,
Yeah.
It's kind of like
And you go,
you hear his voice and I always say that because Alan's like, I go, oh, just don't pay attention. Let's just keep going.
And you were embarrassed about your old answer?
Well, we're going to
You
leave
thought
this one
that
in
was-
society.
You thought
But
that
if
was
it's on
it?
if it's on your playlist and we're in the middle of having sex, why should we stop because of a song?
You know, it makes perfect sense when I hear it back.
So that's the lesson that we've learned today. Do not stop because of the song.
Yeah, do not stop because of a song. So that's what I said. I didn't say I don't go purposely and put it in the DVD player. So let's get freaky. No, it just happened to come on my playlist once when we're in the middle of, sexual intercourse.
That's... I almost want to just stop right there. We have more to go. So, all right, everybody, deep breath.
It doesn't sound that crazy. I mean, does it really sound that
No, come
insane?
on, we're
It
adult. We
sounds-
can-
we're
it's
adult.
fine.
I mean,
We are
to me,
adults.
it's
We
just,
can
and
handle
I'm
it.
very honest.
Yes,
Are
I
you gonna
love
be
it.
okay, honey?
Do you have that bike ready? Are you ready to bike together?
I'm putting the cat back in the fridge.
All right, we're going to regroup to a positive moment here. Best date you ever had with Tanya. This one is for you.
I'm sorry, the best
The
one?
best date you ever had with her.
Oh, well, once again, I would have to say it would be hard to pick. We had some wonderful times on a little romantic interlude in Paris just last spring to celebrate our anniversary. But, our best dates are just about every night at home. There's a lot of traveling involved in the work and a lot of leaving the house in just our weekly activity. But I so love to be at home and our routine, which is terribly simple. It usually involves a hot tub and a big screen TV and some popcorn and
Me.
and it's so simple and quite romantic and fabulous. And
We love
those are
spending
kinda
time
like date
together.
nights.
I'm so in love. I love seeing this.
We're
It's the
together
sweetest
like
thing.
24/7, and my favorite time at home as well, my favorite date nights with my husband is just really just being at home, ordering a pizza, opening up a bottle of wine, having a jacuzzi, watching a great movie.
Putting
and
on
it's-
that Robin Thicke album.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so real quick for the last couple, Tanya, the worst date you ever had with Alan.
The worst date I've ever had.
Yeah, we've had a couple of those.
I can't remember. I think I got out of the moving car once after dinner
did.
because some really hot actress came up to him, and this was like early when we were still dating. We weren't engaged yet, and I just remember being on Vineland in Hollywood in LA, and I was just so livid that he spoke to her for so long. And
I said, J-Lo, keep your hands to yourself.
And I just remember the car was still moving, and I was crying, and I'm like, let me out. And I opened his door of his Jaguar, and it got hit by another car. And I felt so terrible. But then I made it up to him by taking his Jaguar while he was working. I went to a mechanic, and he fixed it for free. So your car got fixed for free at
And there's
Jaguar.
no telling what that negotiation was all
right.
about.
We're just gonna.
No, I got it fixed. I told them the story. They were all laughing, and they fixed it, and I came home with a fixed
J-Lo
door.
revenge there.
Who controls the remote in your home?
Oh, he does.
He does.
Hands down controls the remote.
I don't let it out of my
But I
head.
tell him what to put on.
Velcro it.
I tell him what to play.
And you just press the buttons.
Plays.
Okay, that makes sense. The favorite, when you look back on your character on Growing Pains, your favorite line or favorite episode that you ever had to say?
Gee, the writers and producers were always indulgent enough that every year before we started taping the new season, they would say, do you have any ideas or storylines that you'd like to do? And then we would develop that into a script. And I particularly liked one in which I was bringing my young son, Jeremy, to a rock concert. I was a big shot. I had special backstage passes, and
that's Ben, right? The one who
and
plays
Ben,
Ben
yeah. And then the story became this guy really, the rock star, really behaved terribly. I was a hero to Ben because I got him in backstage, but the guy behaved badly. He was abusive to his girlfriend. He was drinking. He was carrying on. And then, as the dad, I'm faced with the dilemma of: do you expose this guy for the fraud and cad that he really is, or do you protect the child's image and fantasy? And the punchline of the story is that the rock star was Brad Pitt. And to this day, I have my T-shirt with the Brad Pitt rock star picture on it. Yeah, but we were lucky to have a number of terrific young stars on the way up, including obviously Leonardo and Brad and Hilary Swank. We had a number of people who went on to great things, and it was fun to watch their progress.
Fabulous. Okay, in one sentence, the attribute you love most about each other.
I love that my husband loves me unconditionally and is very patient with me at times, but I also love that he appreciates me, and I think that you get me.
I think the quality of Tanya's love is incomparable and unimaginable. The purity and the focus and the dedication, apart from whatever personality difficulties pop up between us, as they do with most couples, I suppose, I always come back to the intense quality and purity of the love she gives.
That is so sweet.
I'm gonna cry.
Aww.
Aw, thank you.
She told me to say that.
That was you practiced beforehand. I know. No. All right, real quick. We're running out of time for the last two. Favorite activity you do together?
I think we covered that already.
Yeah.
I think we've covered that.
Okay. And then, what will you be doing when the season premieres on September 21st? How do you celebrate? What do you do? Do you watch it with everyone? Do you see it in advance?
The truth is, we'll probably have a full day of talk shows promoting the event that night, and we'll probably watch at home and maybe even alone.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We're simple. We're just a simple couple that way.
I love it, with the best personalities.
Oh, Rebecca, thank you.
Of course.
This was a lot of fun.
Good.
We enjoyed being here.
Oh,
this
good.
was fun.
I'm glad. No, you guys are great. I can't get enough of them. I know you guys are not going to be able to get enough of them.
So
if you
please
want
watch.
more, Unusually Thicke, September 21st, Pop TV.
Yay.
Go watch it. Thank you both for being
Thank
here.
you.
you.
Thank you for having us.